Aloha world, aloha, ohana, aloha Maui. Just welcome, it's Jonah Martin Lyon here, checking in from Reno, Nevada, coming off the Dusty Playa and Burning Man. Today's Hope for Maui live stream, and we're here live right now, and I'm honored to be here with some of our Jedi team members, both on Maui as well as on Southern California, folks who were with us out at Black Rock on the Playa. And yeah, today just want to start off with just letting everyone know that everything's clear from Playa, letting people know people are safe, sound. There's a wonderful burn. There wasn't any of the crazy things that might have come off in the mainstream news and media that was said around things of which like our health or well-being was compromised in any which way. There were some people that took the reign and wanted to run, but those of us dusty burners enjoyed being out there, and it gave us time to really sink in and drop in deeper and more intimately with one another, more connection and more, I would say, networking when it
Can you
comes to
open that
our initiative
that
and directives
thing?
to
It's just me, Mom.
collaborate with a lot of
Please,
our
that'd be
amazing,
really helpful.
innovative builders and creators at Burning Man to support our rebuild and come and reinforce what we are needing and desiring on Maui. So it's just a bit introduction into what's happening now. I have more news to update, but I just want to introduce or let some of the other people in this circle right now come in and share their voice and check in. So with that, Lion checked in. Much aloha.
Thank you, Lion. This is Cassandra. I go by Angel out on Playa, just coming in from 2 full, beautiful weeks out there in the desert, really seeing a lot of amazing effort, communal effort, people coming together in the midst of what might seem as chaos or disaster, but really making the most of it. It was a beautiful, heartfelt experience out there. And along those days of Playa and Burning Man and that co-creative opportunity, Lion was out there really holding the tone of what to do next and how to support the efforts out there on Mama Aina, and just welcomed by so many people having him out there and really leading the charge and creating those efforts. So I'm here in full support of what's next and how we can come together as a collective of burners who have in the past done amazing relief efforts in places like Haiti and other locations, in the midst of that post, recovery stage, and in full support of that. So checking in as Angel or Cassandra here in Southern California, San Diego. Thank you.
Lily, you want a quick check in?
Aloha. Aloha kako. My name is Lilinia, and I am in Hana, Maui. And it's actually 8:12 here, and so just kind of starting out my day. My keikis is cruising in the background. You might hear them from time to time. And yeah, I've been in my own little bubble right now, having just birthed my daughter. But what I see energetically is like we're coming on a month now since, sorry, my lighting is not so great. Coming on a month now since this issue has taken place on the island here. And it's just, it's kind of like an unraveling and an uncovering of a story that maybe wasn't fully transparent. So each day there's more happening on the grounds level of people piecing together things that from the outskirts look like initiatives to create one directive, but are actually coded with other intentions and agendas. So we'll just keep it light on that level, but that is the reality of what we're seeing. And so we're recognizing, you know, that this is the long haul. This is going to be a long term coming together and using our mind's eye and our power to of prayer of you know, all of the tools that we have as individuals and collectively to just really stay on the forefront of what's going on. I think one of the major concerns for people is, where are all the keiki? Where did all the kids go? And you know, there's a lot of investigation wanting to happen that isn't necessarily being allowed right now, and there's many different reasons why that is, and I'm sure some of it's legit for the nature of safety and, you know, the danger of, you know, more issues, and there's protocols and ways to be aware of that. But there's also a desire to keep certain things hidden. So as far as what I know, I'm pretty sure the um, grassroots level people are planning some directives of protest, of wanting to like lock arms and kind of create somewhat like of a prayer circle, where there's stand-in energy. I'm not sure exactly what that looks like, but that seems to be something that's being spoken about. And yeah, it's it do pay attention to social media and be deciphering, and you know, be oh, hold on just a second, honey, and be aware of, you know, the different storylines that are present, and decide for yourself what feels intuitive. My daughter's eating cake, everybody.
Nice. Already love it. Lenya, you went on mute if you.
Hi, I'm chiming in from Northern California.
Yeah.
I am Faith Mystic. I'm a global relief healer, and I have the ability to change the elements. I have super abilities. I work currently with certain truth speaking radio shows as a on the board of directors and a senior producer. I've been a global recording artist for since I was a child. I've been recording and globally since I was probably in my 20s. And the music that I create is all conscious music that raises the frequencies to help save and heal creation. I do work with children. I am at school. I've worked as a teacher, as an educator. I work with families who have children who are in the special needs realm of where they're super oversensitive or they've been through trauma and they need to heal. I work with children to adults to elders. And what I've noticed right now with everyone everywhere is that the innocence inside has to be protected. And those little babies, those little ones that went missing in Lahaina, that's how I say, I don't have to say it the way you say it. I apologize. Can you teach me how to correctly say Lahaina? Is that okay to say it?
You're saying it right, boo.
Okay, beautiful.
Hyena.
I help to free the souls. So I find missing people. Usually I help the families when the souls come forward. There was about, most of the children came forward except for 348 of them. And there's 300 of the children that I could not find when scrying for them. I was just talking to Hope for Maui about that earlier before we came on video, is that I was looking for them also, and I couldn't find 348 of them, but 300 of them, I did find them inside of a facility. Like I literally can see 300 of the children who went missing in a building completely. And so I'm trying to figure out how to best help and figure out what happened to the other 48. But the other ones that did transform, it was unacceptable, and that whole entire area has to be created as an altar for them, like a place of ceremony to gather and pray for the souls and the ones who transformed in that fire. And that's real. And we have to find the other children who are missing because they don't have accountability for all of them there. And they're not going to be able to find the DNA of all of them there because they're not all there. So that's a reality. And what we have to do as a community, as a one tribe, as we are all soul tribe. All of the continents used to be together. So we're all family. Is raising that intention to unify, to lock arms together globally so that we can save creation. Because it's multiple locations now that have been affected in such ways. And thankfully, it was able to be reported in Lahaina. But what about the Amazon? What about the jungles through globally the world, our womb planet? If we are not locking arms and we are segregated, we must unify as one tribe, rising up with conscious solutions that are sustainable, that have a lighter footprint, that doesn't cause immense explosions with chemical radicals that are unnecessary. We do not need to put more chemicals around our homes or in our water system. We have to learn how to purify without chemicals and detox our planet without chemicals so that we can create less fires. We are the change that we are looking for. So I'm Faith. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, mahalo Faith, mahalo Angel, mahalo Lily. Thank you all. It's again just honored to be here with beautiful, empowered, strong women. I want to reflect that also, that this is a time of really of the rise of the rising of the feminine in leadership, and the full support of our women and our children. And I feel that's a blessed topic and theme to stay within. And one of the things for me out on Playa this year, and coming with the intention to recruit, to onboard, to enroll more support people that would love to come and give their mana, their energy, their hands, and any ways that they can to Maui. And that right there, the kids is what we've seen is a way to really unify us. The heartfelt sense that we have around keiki. I remember that one of our largest rallies during the mandates with COVID, was around protecting our keiki, protecting our children. And I think we're all speaking to that when we speak about it, not only from what took place on Maui and uh, locating and accounting for our lost children, but also what we need to do in terms of writing our relations with the planet, with each other, taking care of our natural resources, our environment, making sure that we have clean water, uh, fertile soil, and beautiful, pure air to breathe. This is needs to be high directives, and all of that is really not only caring for ourselves, but like really looking at this from a generational thing. Sustainability needs to be 7 generations and beyond. And many of us, coming back to kind of circle, many of us in our camp is one pathogenesis, rainbow warriors, um, bringing forth these prophecies that have been shared throughout indigenous tribes as something that is also unifying us. Is we're all speaking about the same thing. Many of our visionaries, seers, uh, have been telling about this time. Our shamans been speaking about this time, and we're in it now, and our focus, really needs to come into precision and accuracy. And I believe that the transformation and change that is occurring on Maui and what's showing up in support in this regeneration of Maui is a model, and will be a Knights Templar, a template for the world. And but at the current moment, before we get into a whole lot of like ideation You know, I love where we're at right now is we need to just really reconcile, recognize, and acknowledge what has taken place in the history and her story first and foremost. You know, and some of it I know Lily was just speaking to as well. You know, being there on the ground um, is uh, where what kind of healing are we doing in this moment? Uh, Seeing another brother Jedi in our council sharing some ideas around art therapy, music therapy. Being in a creative space is one of the best ways that we can help to transmute the trauma that's taken place from these fires and many fires that are happening. You know, there's people that are still suffering from fires all around the world. You know, and if we can I remember right before, and this last thing I will say, and then move it on. Right before coming to Burning Man, we were sitting in a deep meditation and just dropping in, wanting to connect with Source, connect with God, and just be like, you know, is it the right thing for me to go to Burning Man, given what's, you know, what's taken place, and um, you know, and then thinking about this notion of this fire, you know, and like sustainability, right, and be like, we need to stop burning things. You know, I was going through all this stuff, you know, like some of the most unsustainable things happening amongst some of the most sustainable things happening. So I was in this kind of, you know, in between place. And I remember, and basically the message I received at that time was bring everybody back to the fire, you know, and that was a very powerful sense of feeling of something that has brought humanity together since the beginnings of time is simply just to circle around the fire, you know, and from that, so much collective intelligence and consciousness can arise by sharing our story and establishing a unified field and coherent field in a prayer, you know, to really come into prayer. And so that's something that I would love to see is the artistic, creative ways for us to put our prayers out into the world and for those to be answered. I hope.
It's an interesting concept that you brought it back to the fire and just knowing what I've learned in the teachings of the place of the fire as being the communal space for storytelling, for story sharing, for sharing wisdom. That's what I'm seeing when you say that, as we have so much of this wisdom in all of our cultures, in all of our ancestry. And I feel like even though we're connected in the ethers in this web field of the internet, that we're becoming more and more disconnected in a sense with each other. There's a missing that's happening in our current state of affairs as a community. And bringing it back to the fire, bringing it back to community, just bringing in what I saw take place out at Burning Man, where you have 70,000 people, you know, collectively together in that space, and how we did come together around that, call it fire, for sharing, you know, the music and the love and the dance and the togetherness, you know, sharing our voices, sharing our stories, our feelings. I see that that could become of immense, you know, contribution to what's happening in a place that has recently been struck. When I was in Haiti right after the earthquake, there was this concept of the conbit, of having that communal space, that container created for community to come together and to grow together and to rebuild together and to share together. And it was an amazing experience creating those places of conbit to take place. Perhaps a takeaway for Maui is to really, you know, be intentional in creating those communal spaces, those sacred fireplaces for people to come together for the music and art, for the storytelling and the sharing, for the best practices and how we can do better for the next 7 generations and fix or correct, course correct. So I just want to acknowledge that and just share what my mind was going towards when you were sharing that, Lion. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that share as well. And something that I've been discussing, and I want to share because it's present, is the infrastructure that we have, in our Rainbow Warrior camp, and that's being offered as a contribution to create those sacred spaces, those containers, the communal space, the commons. Um, and I think it's in the way of like a hive mind, if you will. It's how we can can centralize in a way, right? To have a way to come together and to really forge the directive that is in most alignment with what wants to happen, and some tears that kind of welled up, but not from the standpoint of sadness, but from the moving of water within our bodies as you were speaking. There's this movement of water, and this will be a good segue for Lily in this. Like Lily and I met for the first time on Earth Day and her and I share the same birthday, April 22nd, and we literally met laying right next to the fireplace at the Sacred Earth Temple, which is our one of our communal spaces that we've been gathering on Maui for a long time. I believe this is our water temple, and it's you know one of the first locations that would love to put a focused energy towards in terms of a um, that relations, establishing beautiful relations with the Kanaka, Maoli, our Kupuna, our uh, Hawaiian natives, our transplants, the residents, the locals, our entire community, regardless of where we come from, and to sit in circle with one another and to bring this water to this fire. And I feel like that happened at Burning Man in a strange way. Yeah, is literally the rains came, and brought water to the fire. And what it did was it helped to also bring us not only tighter together, but it also, remove some of the impurities, if you will, happening, or the people that were out there simply for the party as opposed to being out there for the community. Those who were out there for the party, their party ended, and so they left. Those that stuck around who were out there for community, we got tighter and we grow and we learn from each other. And so I'm grateful for the combination of those, of all the elements, yeah, and how they work together. So I see Brother Benjamin Oltafer here. Aloha, brother. Thank you for joining us. We're just kind of sharing a bit right now of what we're seeing in the ideation of some action. We're sitting with what's current, on Maui, especially around the keiki. Uh, Still identifying, taking account for what we've lost in inventory. Really sitting in the healing space right now and what we can bring. I love that you're here too in this art and culture field and thinking about how arts is one of the best ways for us to heal, especially from mental trauma. And what has happened. We can really support the transmutation of that and the integration in a good way by being artistic and being creative during a chaotic time. Yeah, and being innovative in chaos. So, um, yeah, and with that, just to kind of bring you up to speed in that, and just popcorn style. Just if you can turn your phone horizontal also to give the landscape view, if can, that'll help with the. There you go. Yeah, it'll fill up the screen for the TV. Same. Yeah, Faith, if you have that option, would be great too to shift it over. And yeah, anybody else want to chime in? Mic's off when we're not speaking, so there's no echo. Complete. Good morning, friends. Hello. I'm Ben Olthofer. It's a pleasure and honor to be here in this space with you guys this morning. Um, let's see. My mind in thank you, Jonah, for that introduction. On the arts and culture seat, recognize that art is a huge aspect moving forward. How do we in my work so far with the fires, I've noticed that everyone is processing in their own way. Everyone is processing on a great spectrum, incredible power to reach everyone exactly where they're at, whether they're going in or they're going into joy. Painting, dance is there. I'm connected in with a couple of the community dances, um, the community weekly dances on Friday and Sunday. See how much energy is moving through that, how much emotion is moving through that, how much processing and connecting in with self is coming through that. Also, with a over on the Highness side, over on Holly, um, very of the she's all in the art world, and she has got a great art studio down in her basement and a great stockpile of art supplies. And we've gone out once and planned next uh, into the parks and just setting up easels over the west side to uh, off outlet paint with the survivors and with those and with people. My mind keeps coming back and back and back and back. Being a bit of a procrastinator myself, it's there's this like energy and angst that comes closer and closer to the date of impending action. And I know it's going to come up really soon. It's like October 20th or so. It's the date that all of the survivors and all the people that lost their homes, all the people that came into the Hyatt Westin and like two other major hotels and resorts, they're all getting kicked out. They're all getting kicked out. Oh, they only have so long that they are able to occupy officially that space. And then they're turned out to the streets, and now we have 4,000 more homeless people that are going through some of the worst times. I'll just say the worst times of their lives. And I continue to go back to what do we do as an island for these people that have already gone through so much? And I know there's some initiatives going around, and there's initiatives of the shelters going around, but at what level? And are we creating those villages? Are we creating these environments for this intermediate housing to go through? We've got the initial housing taken care of thing, and the insurance claims and the other pieces are maybe working on their homes being rebuilt. That's still years down the line. How can how how can we, as a concerned group of people that have the voice and power to make a difference, and so very lightly connected with a couple different pieces here on the island so far, but did moving towards that housing and shelter for a huge wave of of people hitting the streets in the next month, 2 months, or um, until they stop extending that extension. So art, housing, the culture that is this rebuild, this rebuilding, this rebirth, this phoenix literally from the ashes, and moving step by step in those directions. And with that, I feel, oh, um, my name's Ben. I'm a father of three, live here in North Kihei, here on Maui. Uh, as Jonah had mentioned, on the arts and culture seat here in the Jedi Alliance, and stoked to be a part of a group and movement of people making a difference. With that, I'm in. Mahalo.
Yeah, whole mahalo, brother. Thank you for the update as well. And yeah, that's a big point right there. You know, to set some. Thank you for bringing the clarity around the dates. We've been sharing a bit around that, and it's good to have some knowing that there's an extension one, because I thought we were already in that 30 days. It sounds like we're now at more like 45 days approximately. But you know, when and it puts a sense of immediacy and urgency into these directives around housing. Uh, Obviously, we're losing a lot of not only people are going to need housing, but if we do not come up with solutions in a rapid response, many of our low residents are going to need to look at relocating and moving off Maui as a potential as well. And something we were discussing in that is once families have moved, especially generational families have moved, the likelihood of them moving back um, is really low probability in the moving back. And so that loss of just rooted uh, um, family ohana presence is felt, and we lose traditions and we lose some of our cultural practices and things, and it starts to I would say dilute uh, a bit of um, the cultural uh, presence. It dissolves the aloha, and that we've seen on other islands taking place. You look at Hawaii as a whole. And so I feel like it's a good way, something that Lily really have something to share around that and her experience and seeing how that's taken place, and maybe some resolution, what we can point towards um, in our solutions, and how we can act and bring forth our voices to empower people to come in and to hold strong and recognize that the world is here in support and coming, in response. Complete.
I'd love to speak to some of the things I've heard everyone share. There's one thing that arrives is, you know, a lot of so if you go to the realm of being a child and you experience severe trauma, how does the body respond to that? And then you come into adulthood, and you can either disassociate from those experiences, or you can full-fledged dive in and want to heal that for yourself individually, right? So there's that aspect that's present, and then when it comes into the direction of what happened collectively, so you have like a mass of people who are getting traumas activated from like lineage of trauma in the realm of how people have been treated. So you have indigenous people who, are on a daily just, trying to structure themselves in this society that is kind of designed, um, you know, in I don't want to say offense, but like it's designed in a way that doesn't feel natural, right? To what was originally established in our relationship to the earth. And then it's like with Standing Rock, it's like people were able to come together and stand up on one common front, and yet the experience of it while they're doing chemical drops, from the sky, and all these different things that they're doing to disempower and to bring us away from that innocence, that is the really the core pillar that leads us to do these humanitarian works, to try to reestablish some sort of balance and order and structure and justice and righteousness on this planet. It's like we have to come present to, that there is that a lot of people use the word attacks. um I don't really enjoy that word, but it is a reference point to what's going on. It's like, we have to come into reverence and understanding of the fact that there is like this adversarial relationship with these other parties that want to, um, they want their agenda to move forward, and they're not concerned about the well-being of human lives. They're not concerned about our children or our Aina or any of the things that culturally give us, reference to that innate connection to source, that innate connection to God and to our foundations. And so it's like we're really being pushed by the contrast of these situations in every single way to, tap in deeper and tap in deeper. And I don't know what it looks like for each one of you or each person on this planet or collectively, but trauma hits differently for different people. And so it's like we're having to have this will and this hope, to want to thrive in a time of survival. And giving people initiatives and hope, and reminding each other that there's still reasons to seek breath and life, and to find that fortitude each day, with these like compounded traumas, compounded. And the housing is definitely a fundamental um, aspect that is going to need to be established. And yet there's so many layers to the energetic of our island right now. Is really just like we're kind of looking around, doing what we can, um, everywhere we can, but like kind of with tears in our eyes, and we're still kind of in shock of the situation, and each day we're making steps, and then we're feeling like, okay, we're getting closer. And then we're sitting back and we're having to individually integrate what it is that we're seeing and we're feeling and we're witnessing within the realms of our interpersonal relationships and the energy of the island and the energy of the global community. And so, just one thing that happened, I'm not sure, I think it was a day or two ago, was there was a huge paddle out, at the entranceway of Lahaina. Was really beautiful, and that is one of the ways that we come together in reverence to honor life and to honor death, and to connect with the elements. And I feel I wasn't there, but I feel like that's a testament to, the coming together, with a common intention and a goal that, of just bringing our hearts and minds and spirits together to acknowledge what has happened. And, a lot of times the desire is to disassociate. And I'm really having to do that personal work within myself right now. It's just like, I didn't realize that the trauma, the grief, the experience of this was going to hit me so hard the way that it did. And it didn't hit me until later, than when I was actually in, like doing the works and being there and trying to figure out how to support people, and connecting people and getting superfoods to people, and food to people, and like finding out what's actually going on and all these things. And so now is like the the dust is settling a little bit. It's like everything is actually coming to the surface, and there's a lot of really heavy realities to the situation that are being revealed. And it's really, I'm gonna get fed cake. Thank you. I'm on a live stream. um it's really like there's a perfect representation of it. Like, it's like I'm in this moment of feeling the density of the situation, and someone is coming in to nourish me, to feed me chocolate cake. So, it's like each one of us is given this opportunity to be present to what is and to nurture each other as we ebb and flow in our best. And I think that's really the testament to this whole situation, is coming together. And when one of us is falling, creating that radical inclusivity, where we're finding the balance within each one of us of how we relate to these experiences, and then finding that inner call, like, how deeply do we want to heal? How deeply do we want to face the shadow of the collective? How deeply do we want to address the multi-layered aspects of the situation, how it is a representation for all of the things that are corrupt on this planet right now? Like, not to be in a negative state, because really this is about illuminating this so that we can move it and let it go and no longer have these vibrations be on the planet. But this situation is, I'm getting full body goosebumps. This situation is illuminating child trafficking that has been happening in Hawaii for hundreds since the beginning of the genocide and the annexation of Hawaii. This is illuminating, government corruption. This is illuminating like misplacement of money, misplacement of land resources. This is illuminating the need for our waters to be allocated to proper resources. This is illuminating a need for us to celebrate and liberate ourselves from, being in this kind of go, 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 do vibration. It's requiring us to rest, to recalibrate, to do art, to, reconnect to our human spirit, to our innocence, as Faith was saying, and I've had a tremendously profound contrast in my life, throughout the beginning of time in my personal story. And all I can say in the testament to that is, through that pole, through that darkness, it gives you the opportunity to choose, and you get to choose life. You get to choose light. And unfortunately, I don't, I don't consent, and I don't condone the nature of the situation as, like, oh, well, we can choose that as an opportunity to just bring light to the situation and illuminate everything. Like, there's a lot of aspects that bring up, like my human self and anger and different things. But ultimately, like, we have no choice but to choose to move forward with life, with love, with compassion, with aloha, with presence. And that's what you see the people of Maui doing. You see the people in the midst of the deepest grievance that they've probably ever gone through, choosing to show up each day with their hearts, with their minds, with their music, with their presence, and with their voice, and stand strong and say, we're not going to tolerate anything that isn't in alignment with this new template for, eliminating these aspects that no longer serve us in humanity on a global level. And I'm proud of the people of Hawaii. I am proud of the actual grassroots people who, no matter what blows they get, no matter what fake stories are going out, no matter FEMA trying to block people from going into looking at their property, to collecting things, no matter what blocks they get, people are still continuing to show up. And one of the reasons I love Hungry Heroes Hawaii is they've been feeding the homeless for the last 5 years previous to this type of situation, this catalyst. Um, Hope for Maui, as anyone who's witnessing, we are we are grassroots, we are healers, we are mystics and light workers, and musicians and cultural people, and we are doing our best each day to listen to the call and show up. And so, like, all of the donations, all of the support, all of the prayer, all of the heart, it does move the energy forward. And it's like, sometimes they say, like, don't ever underestimate, like, the power of a smile, just to one person, or like a hot meal or whatever. And it's like, sometimes it feels daunting, the little steps that we're taking. But I think it's important to just remember that, that each step that we take to move forward, each step that we give our intentions forward, for each person to get a little bit closer to their needs being met on a fundamental level, is part of the collective healing. And that's the faith that I'm holding, because being here, witnessing, it's a challenge to not fall into the grief of it, you know and as the grief arises, allowing yourself to feel it, and then saying, okay, God, show me what I can do. How can I be of service? So I do feel that, the more that we come together with the housing initiative is super crucial. And just more perseverance through this process. We were prepared for this. Our contracts, as we chose this, when our spirits were like, hey, we're gonna come in, this was one of the most major incarnations that we chose to come in. And we're here to do this work, and I feel honored to be here with you guys and those that are witnessing and watching, and you, inviting all of you who do witness and watch this. You are a part of this. So what can we do to strengthen our inner architecture and be more present? And if it's just the little sprouts from the tree resprouting, if it's feeding the people, if it's coming together in prayer, if it's, like the music, uh, I see so many people, every single event, every single, coming together of people right now is directed towards, shifting the narrative of the situation. And I give thanks for that, because that gives me hope. So thanks for letting me share that.
Yeah. Thank you, Lily. Yeah, I feel that. So, and to all those out there watching right now, remember to go to hopeformaui.org for any contributions or donations. We also have a link to be able to submit your information, so we can start actually developing our personnel. I know one thing I'll be doing coming back is taking basically an inventory of our people and all those that are wanting to come to Maui. They're already there, and those wanting to come to Maui to support this rebuilding, and the ground in what's needed from food, water, and housing, the healing, and really starting to dive deep into our infrastructure, because we have to look at it from a sustainable standpoint. We need plumbing, we need electric, we need energy. Um, we need a lot of that, from the internal workings of our rebuild. And so we have a lot of those folks really aligning right now. So I'm super excited about that. It gives me hope also. And love to hear Auntie Judy has joined us also in this call down there. So I'd love to hear her come in and share a bit of her experience, what she's seen, witnessing there on Maui, and open up any ways or needs that we can share out there with the world through this channel.
Good morning. I've been in touch with Shelby and Christy, and the demonstration is starting tomorrow. They've shifted it. Instead of going over to West Side, we're going to go surround the county building and state, which I think makes sense because we'll be more visible there. So I'm just about to check in with Andrew, who's on the team. We had a couple meetings with Brucey in the evenings this week, three meetings. So that felt good to make that connection. And so she's changing. Everybody look at the telegram. It's public. It's Save Lahaina Vigil. So this will just be apparently the first day of many different outpicturings of just being out there and telling the powers that be that we're watching you and we're demanding answers. And I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know how we can stop them, but I have to just trust that as we keep showing up as the people. And here, I'll show you what I stayed up last night. And you, oh, now it just, you see my sign? No, let's see.
Yeah. Remember, we are the
99%.
we are the night. Time to come together. Got you.
Time to come together.
Yes, sir.
And then the other side will say this Tutu demands to know where are the children. The girls met somebody, either they met the teacher or they met her best friend, a teacher in Lahaina who hasn't been able to connect with half of her class. So there's still so many unanswered questions. Apparently there's school buses missing. Andrew was apparently going over to tour the tunnels today, so I don't know if he'll get some clarity about that. I went there finally last week, and this was not a fire-ravaged area, you guys. This was a war zone. You can so totally see. I know all of you have been witnessing this, but to see that bombs went off and everything's just shattered into powder, it's unbelievable. So I feel like there's movement. We have to keep the awareness up because the media's already stopped talking about it a bit. Peggy Hall has been great. If you guys haven't seen The Healthy American, she's a wonderful supporter. I'll know more later after I meet with the girls as to how. I think we're just going to be out there at 8 in the morning and maybe stay the day, the county work day. And then I think it will just progress one day at a time. I don't know if we're going to convoy. So I'll know more later. I don't know if we'll do a check-in call. Jonah, I'm sorry I was on the phone. Where are you?
I'm in Reno right now.
Oh, you are? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad. Send my love to your folks, please. And, we're awesome. Everybody's holding their thread of the tapestry and getting as much happening as possible. And yeah, the word is that they're going to start really pushing for tourists middle of October. So I'm sure a lot of these poor people are going to be displaced. And we're going to have to help figure out ways to help them find temporary housing. It's not going to be pretty, but we're going to all keep showing up. And we know that this is a long haul effort. So that's about all I know right now. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day in Haiku. I'm going to go share some stuff at Temple of Peace this morning and round up more people, hopefully. And I think we just need to make a presence around the county building to show them we're watching them. And I don't know, maybe they're laughing at us. Who knows? And maybe we know they have no conscience. These are not fully human. I'm so devastated that our mayor turned out to be another scumbag. I was really hoping he was going to be different, but I guess these people don't get to those levels of power being different. I guess they got to get with the program. So we'll see. I think there's a grand jury that's happening around Josh Green with the assembly. So I see us making ripples, and I don't know how, but I know we're going to take this system down and turn it around because we got bright future for our kids. We've got a lot of kids to be responsible for. So I am complete.
Thank you, Judy. Can I invite Faith? Faith, can I just invite you to bring in some of your mystic download, just as to kind of direct and bring an affirmative vibration of the power of just us six here with those watching. I think it's really important that we remember, and establish, regardless of what's happening in a third dimensional vibration, there's so many things happening on the astral plane, right? And like within the galactic field, and we're all kind of learning how to access that deeper. So I trust that Faith maybe can just bring in some sort of directive and vibration to just like up the ante in this present moment and what we have here with each other.
To speak first, and then after I'll do the singing. Is that okay? Okay. So there are. I've been working with Hope for Maui really, really strongly with the housing and development, and I work specifically with that. I have been doing that for many moons, coming up with plant-based solutions, working with biochemists and microbiologists, and now I have a pretty strong team. And we're already working globally to create sustainable solutions for housing that's easy and can give jobs to people, to loved ones where they're at. With the intention of positive affirmations, I want to let you dive into the comprehension. When you look at somebody in their soul, say it's the one who they brought in as a governor or a mayor. Sorry, I'll back up again. Say it's somebody that they brought in as a governor or a mayor. And the obvious common sense if they're not doing their job the way that they should be doing is altering this situation to have everything revealed that has occurred, that has been inappropriate, that has been devastating, that is not what is meant to be. It's not part of the contract to have those occurrences happen exactly in that way. They're toying with things that they should not be toying with. Therefore, the energy going at them right now with where we're at, galactically, spiritually, where what now is that the sheets being pulled open and everyone can see their dirty business. You see? So they're not going to get away with it. And in the realm of comprehension of what now is, we have the option of healing Earth with Earth. There's so many of us who are here ready and totally willing to be present to help create that sustainable coexistence for creation to sustain to a place beyond buildings that mold and rot and have lead poisoning or other types of chemicals in them that are cancerous, to a place where we build our homes with land, with magnesium oxide, with bamboo and hemp. That we as tribes work together to create the sustainable solutions and do not fear of any impending doom. Because when we unite and we work together, that's an energy of positive affirmation. We reclaim that positive affirmation again and again. It doesn't have to do with their attack. It has to do with rising up, climbing up that ladder and being strong together. If somebody can't climb, help them. Because right now are the moments to unite. I'm going to bring in an intention of sacred ceremony with song. Is that okay? Do any else of you would like to speak? Otherwise, I'm going to be singing for a bit.
I think that's beautiful. You can go ahead and close with your song today, yeah.
Mashallah, thank you.
Mahalo.
Ah. Make happening in Lahaina, what has occurred globally. Silence of truth washing into the eyes of creation. Cemented the haze like I wrote no protection, zero, yeah, wow, to the line, to the tribe, yeah, wow, yeah, spirits of the land, ancestors, loved ones transformed, bringing in the purification of the souls, washed, clean, safe, ready to help the children who are living, the loved ones who survive, walking through that divine expansion. Ohana, united in all levels. Away, releasing fear, filling it with beautiful solutions, miracles, blessings, light, pure love, community, expansion, peaceful sustainability that is not fearing. Washing through the heart, healing all who've been suffering. Washing in the light of the solutions, fast solutions, let it be. I hope you no harm to me. Yeah, no, la 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 Bring in the blessings of purity, washing through the lands of the Lahaina, Maui, to the ocean, to the Uru, the expansions of that womb of earth, to the waters and to the airs, even within the fibers, that the fibers are conscious, and they do not deliver suffering into the places that those are considered enemies, trying to raise their toxic poisons, that the molecular structure in Earth and creation and galactically transforms, that even the satellites and the weather weapons are not able to impede upon the natural organic sustenance of spirit present within the womb of Earth, expansion into our galaxies, to our universes and beyond. Protection. Awaken man. Oh, yeah. Thank you, beloveds. Taking that expansion, I want you to visualize all of the hearts of the loved ones who are present in Lahaina right now. Everyone who's waiting for the solution, acknowledging that the solutions are on the way. I and many others are working together with Hope for Maui as Hope for Maui to co-create solutions that are sustainable. We are working very hard to make sure that everything sustains and is weatherproof. We honestly believe that the best thing that we could do right now as a coexistence is to create sustainable solutions as fast as possible. And it's not surprising that Earth is that solution. It doesn't cost $20,000. Costs way less than that per house because they are all plant and mineral based. We as community, as Ohana, as loved ones, we must rise with the purest solutions and options possible. So as you go in Lahaina, those of you who have been working on breathing, working on coughing up stuff, we hear and we acknowledge you. Go to the jungles. Go to the jungles and meet with the ones who can make the medicines that can cure your lungs. The roots and the plants that grow in the jungles thick and dense that have not been affected by the pollutants of the fires. The essences and the memories of the loved ones who transformed in those smokes in that air. Detoxing with lemons, with the roots and the growing moss from the trees. Work on cleansing your lungs, dear loved ones. And in the midst of difficulty breathing, be okay with the respirators, but do your best to work with what plant medicine grows there. Because the cures grow around us everywhere. And you must be cured because of what you've breathed in. Any of you in the fire areas are drinking the waters. You must find the cures and the solutions. Your light is very helpful with cleaning the waters. Our uru, we say in our tribes, uru is the frequency of water to purify. We sing over them. And that changes the frequency and the molecular structure of them. So prayers of heightened acknowledgement, plant medicine wisdom, holistic healing, frequency healing, and raising the heart and soul unified connections in the most peaceful, beautiful ways so that there's no reason for them to attack or harm you. When we rise together in actions, I'm a public speaker. I do run a lot of San Francisco actions I have in the past for many who need to have their voice heard. And we have to come through in a peaceful, loving way so that they have no reason to attack. Everything must be documented, and everything can be risen up against those who are seeking to rule and can take over and contaminate the lands. Consciousness delivers reality. Be steadfast and be doers. Do not take moments to rest. Just take moments to heal. Ahu, Asha, Yeye, Akasha. Thank you. I'm going to mute it now and let you speak. Please donate to hopeformaui.org. We're doing our best, and eventually I'll come there with those who are also working hard to help to come and bring light. I'm planning on coming to bring healing as a healer. Thank you.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Faith, for that transmission. Thank you for that song. Thank you for that prayer. Just giving thanks for the Most High, giving thanks for all of you out there in support. Feel your love. So please bring that love. HopeForMaui.org. Way to come in, contribute. Hope comes in all the ways, shapes, forms, sizes, frequencies. And this is a time for hope and faith for the world. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you for joining us today, Angel, Ben, Judy, Faith, and Lily. Thanks for being here for today. And we'll have another one we're going to keep this rocking and rolling each day as much as can to be this a news broadcast to bring forth the truth of what we know that's happening is those that are on the ground on Maui, those of us in the world connected and being that answer, being the solutions, being the love that's needed for humanity in this time now. So, mahalo ke akua and aloha.